Hello boys and girls, I thought today we would take a little look at the results of our vote from Friday. Thank you so much to everyone who took part. We had over 30 children taking part in the vote and ordering their favourite songs from first to fifth, from their most favourite to their least favourite. So I got all that information and put it into a table for us to see, and I looked at the songs that you chose as your most favourite, the one that you chose as first, okay? And then I counted how many children chose those as their first choice. Today, however, we're going to look at bar graphs, and this is a way that we can understand information in an easier way. So what I've done is, I'm going to show you more in a little second, but I've put this information that I gathered from all your votes and I made it into a bar graph. Boys and girls, this is the bar graph that I just made there with all the information that we gathered on Friday in our class vote. Okay, we have seen something like this before. I think when we were learning about Minibase, we collected information and then put it into a bar graph, something like this. Okay, so this is what it looks like for today. At the top you can see we've got the title, so that people understand what all this colour means, because that could just mean anything if we didn't have a title. So it says it's a bar graph to show year 2's favourite song. Okay, then you'll notice that we've got all the numbers at the side, and then so people know what the numbers mean, it says here number of children who chose this song as their favourite. Okay, and then we've got the song options. We've got, because we had to choose between the 5, there was Lighthouse, Happy, King of Me, I'm Trusting You, and Can't Stop the Feeling. Okay, so for a bar graph to work, we need a title, you can see here. We need a title at this side, and we also need a title at the bottom, or a little label at the bottom which says song option. So all the colours, or the lines that are going up, they're known as the bars. So when all the blocks are put together, it's known as a bar. Okay, so this is a lot easier to read for some people. Instead of writing out a big sentence saying 9 people chose Lighthouse as their favourite, people can just go to this sort of graph and they can say, okay, well there's Lighthouse and it's the yellow one, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll know that 9 people chose that. If you didn't want to count it, which is absolutely fine, this is what graphs are for, you could look, okay, so it goes the whole way up. It's been coloured in up to the number 9, so we know right away that Lighthouse got 9 votes. Okay, we'll do the same for the next one for Happy. Again, you can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, as well, if you want to, you can just look at the side and you'll see that the top of where that goes up to also lines up with the number 6. So we know that 6 children in P2 chose Happy as their favourite. Okay, and then we had King of Me. It was 5 people chose it as their favourite, so they did. Okay, so just to double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm Trusting You. We've got 1, 2, 3, and again that lines up perfectly to the number 3, so we didn't even have to count that. So for this one, goodness, there looks like there's a lot of blocks coloured in. So instead of counting this, I'm just gonna look. The top one here lines up to the number 10. Okay, so just so I don't forget, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the numbers at the top of each. So Lighthouse got 9, Happy got 6, King of Me 5, I'm Trusting You, which I chose as my favourite. I know that some other people did, and you've told me that, so we chose the same, and that one got 10. Okay, so looking at this graph, boys and girls, I've got a few questions to ask you. Which song was the most popular? Which song did the most children in P2 choose as their favourite? Yeah, most people liked Can't Stop the Feeling, and it was very close between that and Lighthouse. Okay, so Can't Stop the Feeling, it was the most popular. Which one was the least popular, boys and girls? So which one got the least votes for being your favourite? Yeah, it was I'm Trusting You, okay, because it only goes up to number 3. It's got the smallest bar. Do you see that? All these coloured blocks are known as bars. Okay, So we'll know which one's the most and which one's the least favourite. I've got some questions for you. Now, we've been learning about finding the difference, so I'm going to ask you to find the difference between the votes for 2 songs. So you might want to grab your numeracy jotter or grab a whiteboard. You don't really have to write this down, but you will most likely need your number line, okay? So think about your finding the difference strategy when we're doing this activity, okay? So I want you to find the difference between the votes for Lighthouse and the votes for Happy. So what's the difference between, I'll help you with this one, what's the difference between 9 and 6? Okay, so look at your number line and look at the number 9 and the number 6, and how many jumps do you have to do? Yeah, if you said 3, then you're absolutely right. And actually, I don't know whether you've noticed that, but there's 3 spaces there that are blank. Do you see that? And that would make it the same height as Lighthouse, so you could have done it like that too. But if you used your number line or you did it like that and you got the answer 3, then that's fabulous. Well done. Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. What's the difference between the amount of votes for Happy and the amount of votes for Can't Stop the Feeling? So what's the difference between Happy and Can't Stop the Feeling? Okay, so difference between 6 and 10, or 10 take away 6. Okay, if you say that the answer was 4, then that's really, really super well done. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to post a few more questions for you to do, and again, don't worry about writing them down in your jotter. You can do this as a practical activity. Okay, so I want you to find the difference between the votes for these things. So number 1 is, can you find the difference between Happy and King of Me? Number 2, King of Me and I'm Trusting You. Number 3, Can't Stop the Feeling and Lighthouse. Number 4, Happy and I'm Trusting You. Number 5, Lighthouse and I'm Trusting You. So pause this video so that you can see the questions and also see the graph. If it's not big enough, you might want to rewind it a wee bit so that you can see the graph maybe slightly bigger. Keep watching if you want to have a go at some more tricky questions, okay? I've labelled them bonus questions. Okay, so your first bonus question is, what's interesting about the number of children who chose King of Me compared to Can't Stop the Feeling? Now there's a few answers to this that probably could be right, but count how many people who chose King of Me. Okay, I think that was 5, and I think Can't Stop the Feeling was 10. Is there anything interesting between the numbers 5 and 10? Anything they have in common? Any connections? Any patterns? If you can figure out a way to find out how many children across P2 took part in the vote, is there a way that you can find the total? See if you can figure that out with an adult or a grown up at home.